So I want to show you a couple things on MyMathLab that make it a bit clunky when you first start, but if you get used to the features within the platform, it can be very usable on an iPad, iPhone, and any iOS device. I have not attempted it on other devices, but let me show you a couple features. So I'm just going to open a problem, and I'm going to open one where we have to type an answer in first. So the first problem that I'm encountering is asking you to calculate the slope of a line. The first thing I encourage students not to do is to not use the magnifying glass. The magnifying glass opens a pop-up window. I just think it's a little bit cumbersome, and I encourage students not to do it. I feel like it's easier to use the pinch feature if you really want to zoom into something. So if I was looking at this, I'm supposed to be calculating the slope. I'm going from a positive 7 down to a negative 6, so that's a change of 13. And then I'm going to the right 1 unit, so that's a change of 1. So my slope should be a negative 13 over 1, or a negative 13. So if you went to go type that in to your box, if you just type the box, the entire keyboard comes up, and you're having to toggle back and forth between the alpha keyboard and the numeric keyboard so that you can get your negative 13 typed in there. Some of my students decided that they wanted to do the split screen. Split screen works great in some instances, but notice that my split screen completely covered the box where I need to enter my answer. But do notice that at the bottom of the screen, I have some extra math features available down there where I can enter a fraction or an absolute value bar. All that's great. I like to encourage students to activate the on-screen keyboard that MyMathLab offers. So notice next to question help, there's a little gear. If you click on the gear, that's the MyMathLab settings, and we're going to go into the on-screen keyboard. And I like to turn the on-screen keyboard on when I'm using a mobile or iOS device. So when you go to turn that on, whenever you go to type in an answer, notice all the features that are available to you. The alpha keyboard, the numeric keyboard are all in one place, plus the specialized math characters that you could potentially need are also on that keyboard. So you can go ahead and enter your answer without having to toggle back and forth between keyboards. Another thing that seems to be a bit of a learning curve in MyMathLab is graphing. So let me show you an example of graphing. I'm going to close out of here and open a graphing problem. Okay, so this says to graph the equation of a line. They give me the line y equals negative 5/3 x minus 8. Again, I would not encourage the use of the magnifying glass. I think it just gets clunky. You can still use the pinch feature with the magnifying glass, but I prefer just to use the pinch feature on its own. So when you're ready to graph, just click anywhere within the grid, and your pop-up will come up with all the tools that you can access. So you can graph lines or absolute values, parabolas. So we're obviously graphing a line in this problem, so I'm going to select the line tool. And then I tell students, do the best to be as accurate as you can, but don't stress about getting your points in the right spot on the first try. So if I read this equation, I need to plot a y-intercept at negative 8. I'm going to do the best I can to get close to negative 8, and I actually landed right on it. If you notice the ordered pair in the bottom right under the grid, I landed right on it. Now my slope tells me to go down 5 and right 3. I could do the opposite, and I could go up 5 and backward 3, and I'm going to intentionally not land on it. And my point is not in the right spot. So once you have 2 points on your grid, you can select which point you want to edit. So the top point that I graphed is not correct, So I'm going to place my finger on the top point. Notice the order pair pops up in the bottom right hand corner. And then I can use the arrows under the delete and clear buttons to move my point wherever I want. I'm currently at -4, -5. I need to get up to -3 on the y-axis. So I hit the up arrow twice. And I need to get over to -3 on the x-axis. So I hit my right arrow once. Then once you have the graph in a position you're happy with, you can just check your answer and you should be good to go. So I always tell people, don't worry about plotting your points exactly right the first time. Do the best you can. Get 2 points on the grid, and then once you have 2 points on the grid, then you can go ahead and move them around, edit. Just like you would a text message. Don't worry about being accurate. Just get a word in there, and then you can use autocorrect. So I'm going to do one more example. I want to plot my y-intercept at -2. So I'm going to put it in the wrong spot intentionally. And then I'm going to go up 4, right 2. So again, I put it in the wrong spot intentionally. But I'm going to edit my first point because I want it to be at -2. So I'm going to move it up and to the right. And you can check your ordered pair that you're at 0, -2. I'm going to select my other point. And I need it to be 4 spaces above the -2 and 1 space to the right of -2. So again, I'm just going to use my arrow buttons in that little window that popped up to get it in the proper location. And I'm going to watch my ordered pairs change until I know I'm in the right spot. I was previously at -2 and I needed to go up 4, right 1. So 1, 2 should be the right location. And I can check my